Hey everyone, welcome back to the shop. It's been a couple days, but that's because we've been crazy busy. We're going out of town. We're going to the other shop. So, trying to get the house in order and get all the errands done and all that other stuff has been a big time sucker. But we're getting all that stuff done. We've got a couple loads of laundry left, and I got to finish packing up all the technical stuff, all this gear, so I can stream with you guys when back up at the original shop. And we'll be doing a lot of race car stuff up there. It'll be pretty much race car stuff the entire time, unless we have someone come in with something different or um, something simple, oil change, something like that. What happened to my hair? Everything was fine when I got out of the shower, and then it just blows up. All right. Um, so what we've got tonight, and why can't I get? I don't have a gut. Is it the way I'm standing? Am I slouching and that's why it's folding like that? I don't understand this. It's odd. Anyway, I guess it teaches me to stand up straight. When you're in decent shape, you have to stand up straight. Otherwise, stuff folds weird. Um, so I've been doing a ton of stuff on the limo. You guys remember we had to get rid of the power distribution, the relay box on the PDC. That was because it's not going to work for what we're trying to do here. And I'll turn on the light so we can have some light back here. And so I had to do a different setup so that I could customize the relays and get them to work in the order that we want for the door poppers, using uh, a ground. It sounds weird. A ground activation. I'm gonna move this mic for you guys. Sorry, I know it probably clicked. Um, the door poppers require a ground to activate. They need a full-time positive, so that's why we need to do different relays, and that's okay. It's just we're going to save that relay box. It's probably going to work for the headlights up front. We'll use it for something else in the car or on a different project, but for what we're doing here, it's not really working. So I have the PDC in the car. It has some. I did a whole bunch of test wiring, so it has a whole bunch of stuff hooked up to it that isn't going to be there shortly. We have to clean up a bunch of the wiring and make sure we get the right connectors on there and make sure the heat shrink's all set. So, and I'm having a guitar trivia contest with a few of my guitar buddies. So, oh, used an image search. That's technology, right? So we'll put that guy away. Hang on. There we go. We're not using the phone anymore. I stumped one of my hardcore trivia buddies. My hardest core trivia buddy got it on the second guess, but a couple of the other guys, I stumped them for a few days, and it felt good. It felt really good. But they're super jazzed. They love this trivia stuff. They love the bizarro, obscure facts and all this weird stuff I find about music and guitar players and stuff. So anyway, also yesterday Ozzy Osbourne passed away, which we all thought that was going to happen 25 years ago, 30 years ago, and I was absolutely blown away that he was at the Back to the Beginning concert and sang and duetted and did all this other stuff. He's an icon, absolute icon in the music world, whether it's rap, rock, metal, country, whatever. Ozzy covered it all. He was known by everyone in the music world. So kind of a big loss because he did so much. I talked about it a little bit on my other channel on Kev's Place about a week ago when the concert happened, and he's such a huge influence on so many people. If you say you weren't influenced by Ozzy, you're probably lying. And then all of the guitar players that he worked with, and all the stuff that he did with those guys, bringing them to the forefront and showcasing their talents. It was amazing. I read some I saw some posts, I guess, earlier today from guys that had auditioned for Ozzy back when Jake had left, and uh, they were looking for a new guitar player. Ozzy, put the word out, and a bunch of people auditioned and sent in tapes and stuff. And they had posted their rejection letter that was actually signed by Ozzy, and probably the most polite, professional, straight up rejection letter you've ever seen in your life. Amazon should copy and paste that because it was beautiful. It was, thank you very much for the tape. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I know there's a lot of hard work that went into it. I appreciate everything you've done, but we're going to go with a different guitar player. And if that doesn't work out, we're going to keep you on file just in case. Thank you very much. I mean, it was simple, straightforward, but it was so pro. And I saw that from probably 5 different guitar players before Zach eventually became the guitar player. And I didn't realize Zach was only 20. I thought he was like 23 or 24. He was only 20 years old when he signed on with Ozzy. He was literally just a kid. He couldn't even drink legally. So losing Ozzy is a huge thing, and me coming from the music world, it's a huge deal. He was the Prince of Darkness. He was a big deal, and he was referenced by so many, and respected by so many. And a lot of people don't realize he was funny as hell, like serious, like British comedian talent, funny. And a lot of people miss that. They get into the music, they get into the persona, the image, all that. He was funny as hell. He had jokes, unbelievable. I mean, just like Mel Brooks level jokes. I mean, that's how funny the guy was. So definitely a great, a big loss to the music world, to all of his fans, and to the planet. He was one of the good guys. So definitely a cool guy, and we'll miss him. But we're also lucky enough to have been around when his music was available. So if you got a chance to see him live, awesome. If you enjoyed his music, that's great too. So there you go. So we'll get back to car stuff. Sorry about the music stuff. Some of you folks are big music fans too, so I'm going to throw that in there. What I want to do is, and it's on the other side of this fender, so I'm going to spin you guys around and show you where we're going to be mounting the PDC. But I'll show you on the opposite side of the car just because it's easy and we can see it. We're going to be mounting it right here in this general area. We're going to be using this support strut as our mounting point. And the only prep I've done is I prepped the top corner hole up here on the opposite side with a piece of tape and a hole punch. And I'll show you how I'm doing all this stuff so it kind of gets in the right spot. The downside about mounting this to something like that in a car like this, it probably won't be level. It will be very close to level, but because the car rides different, because it has an air suspension, because we'll have about 1,000 pounds of water in the back, it's probably not going to be level. Fortunately, we're dealing with electronics. We don't really give a shit if it's level or not. It's nice if it does, it looks great. But since we're just using the existing braces and less than $1 in screws, we're not going to have like auto leveling power distribution center. That's some Rolls Royce level stuff there. We're not doing that on this. We're going to mount it, and it'll stay pretty close to level. It'll be within 3 or 4 degrees, so it's not going to hurt anything. What do we got here? Ozzy was amazing right up until the end. Yes, completely agree. And I also, just another, going back to Ozzy just for a second, I read a story that paramedics were at the house for 2 hours trying to revive him. That's incredible. So props to those guys too, and girls and dogs and whoever else was there. So yeah, that was pretty amazing. Definitely be missed. I'm sorry you didn't get to see the limo, but he rode in enough, right? There's our reference. There's our Aussie reference. He rode in a ton of limos. I've got a limo. That's how we're connected. No, I never met him. I met Jakey Lee, a very, very nice guy. Met him at NAMM. And obviously, I never met Randy. And I met all of Zach's, I met all of Black Label Society except for Zach. I don't know how I managed to do that, but I did. So let's get this mounted. And then once it's in its right spot, we can actually take it back off, clean up a whole bunch of the wiring. And I'm doing different stuff with the wiring, so I'll explain that to you guys while it's in here too. But I have to climb it into the trunk. So you want to know how big an 80s Cadillac trunk is? I'm 6'1", 188. You can get at least 2 of me in here, maybe 3 if we're not alive. You can just fold us up. It's a huge trunk, absolutely huge. So with any good fortune, I can get the camera in a good enough spot where you can still see it and my ass isn't in the way or bumping into the battery or anything else. So I'm going to swing you guys around. Hopefully you can see this. We'll try to make this quick. All right. Swing this way. Hey, there's the Grom. All right. Okay. So there's our PDC. I'm going to hang on. I need to get around the little mat here. So you can see the PDC here, and you can see the support brace back here. That's what we're going to be mounting to. So I'm going to go on the other side of the laptop. I'm going to hop in the trunk, and I'm going to show you how this thing is going to be mounted. And yes, I still have the protective paper on there. That paper is going to stay on until final mounting. There's no reason to take this off, have this stuff get scratched up and boogered up or whatever. Just leave it on, right? And I'm glad I didn't take it off because I needed to line up these relays. These are our 3 new relays right here. It came as a pack of 3. So I'm doing a pack of 3 because we have 2 for the door poppers that are passenger driver door poppers. Then we have a spare. Relays fail regularly, so we have a spare in case we need it, and it can be wired up quick. I just trimmed off the pigtails and heat shrinked. And then it also gives us a spare fuse here. So it's always nice to have spares. It doesn't really cost us much. We already have the space. Might as well use it. And I just use the grid to keep everything level. So now we have our 2 relays for our license plate, our 3 relays for our door poppers, our remote, and our fuse for our license plate. We have our bus bars too. So super, super clean setup, much cleaner than before, and probably at least 50% smaller than the original that nobody knew how the hell it was wired in there. My buddy Chris did a great job with the door poppers and getting it partially wired in, temporarily wired in. So let me hop in here. I think I have everything. Let me rockstar up quick, just because I know it's going to be a minute. Okay, and that's still in the shot, which is a good thing. Okay, we hop in here. I'm trying not to bonk my head because even though it's a huge trunk, there's still a lid. And I mean, I fit in here no problem. There's still all of this space behind me. I mean, let me see if I can do this. See if I can rotate you guys. I mean, there's still all of that space back behind me. So yeah, it's a huge, huge trunk. And I mean, I can put my leg out if I really wanted to. So what we're using here is I've set this up, just kind of put it sort of temporarily in place. marked off with tape, just regular masking tape, where the approximate area of where the holes are going to go. These are our screws. These are self-tappers. These are 1-inch self-tappers with a 3/8 drive head. And these guys go in here. And I drilled it. They're 1/4-inch screws, but I drilled it one size down so that these have a little bit of grip on them because this is plastic. So it's nice to have a little bit of grip on the screws, but eventually it won't be. It'll just be a really, really nice, snug, tight fit. This plastic will strip out almost immediately. So, like I said, when it's like this, it's going to be fairly level, but you can see we're not level here. I mean, I could go grab the phone, but I'm telling you, it's like 3 or 4 degrees, maybe 5 degrees off. And then when the back end raises up, this will be a little bit more level, but it's just not going to because of the angle of this. And that's fine. We don't really need it to be. We're not working with accelerometers or anything like that. So what I did was I held this up in place and used, this is just a center punch. This is a super simple tool. If you do any kind of drilling, you should have a center punch. And kind of drew a little circle here with the center punch. Drew a circle on the tape. This way I can find the center because I didn't know if I was on the center of the rail or not. So I found the center of the rail and then hit it with the center punch a couple of times. And that gave me a place to drill a pilot hole. Yes, these are self-tappers, but I'm going to drill a pilot hole just to help them out and just to help this metal out too, because this is a heavy-duty screw for an 18-gauge piece of metal. So we'll set this guy off to the side. We've got our drill bit. And I've already center punched this, but if you guys want to see, I'll show you guys how the center punch works. This is a carbide tip, so it's very, very strong, and it's going to make a mark in that metal. And this is spring loaded. It hurts like hell to do it that way. And you just push with your palm, and it'll push past that cam, and of course it doesn't do it now. I'll dial it down a little bit. Why would it do it? Hang on. Yeah, of course now it does it, right? All right. Let's try it one more time. There you go. You do that a couple of times, and what that does is it marks a little indent into the metal, and that'll keep your drill bit from walking. So if you don't have that, what can happen is your drill bit can go bzzz and start walking down the piece. So we don't really want that. We want the drill bit to stay in place. I'm going to support it on the back here. And I have eye protection. I don't really need ear protection. My hands are far enough away. Wow. 80s metal. Oh, come on. This is the other thing. When you're drilling with smaller bits, you want a faster RPM. When you're drilling with larger bits, you want a smaller RPM. There we go. And that last little section is always the hardest. So we'll swap out this bit with our 3/8 drive socket. Need to hold this guy up in place as I do this. Okay. Now for this, I can turn the speed down. because I don't need hammering. I don't need anything else. I can take off my tape too. If you want to leave it back there, you can. It's not really going to hurt anything, but now the trick is to find that hole. I didn't do the self-tapper big enough, or the pilot hole big enough. All right. We'll do our pilot hole a little bit bigger because this thing's just digging a huge hole. And it should grab a little bit better. I was trying to do just a small pilot hole, but this thing wants a bigger pilot hole. All right. It'd be nice to have two separate tools, but I wasn't smart enough to do that. So now, all right. Now let's get this guy in here. I'm going to back him off. Just so I can get my fingers out of there. Can't really see him. He could use a really big pilot hole. There we go. He's in there. I'm not going to crank him down because I need to have this guy at the right spot. So there we go. I can hold this in place and then I can just mark that spot right there. So top guy is mounted. We're going to come down here and I'm going to try and get him where I think the center of that flat spot is. And I'm just going to draw a little circle on the tape with this thing. So I can't really get a pen in there. And then that's where it drew the circle. So that's pretty close to center. I'm just going to go slightly lower. And switch out this. Where'd my drill bit go? I just had him. Oh, he's right here. Both of my drill bits are right there. This is not an expensive drill bit set. This is like a $10 drill bit set from Harbor Freight. It is not expensive, but they're sharp. They're newish, so they're nice and sharp. So now comes the fun part, holding this up and out of the way while we drill that hole. Come on, buddy. This one, yeah, it's just a single. So this does have two pieces to it. The support brace, it's welded back over here, but we don't really have to worry about that. So we can take our tape off and we can get our other bolt. We'll remove this. Shift him onto one. get him through that plastic. There he goes. There's our PDC, mounted nice and solid in the car. We can finish off this wiring. This is our wiring for the license plate. This is our key on wiring. These are our 2 positives for the actuator. And then, like I said, these relays we still have to clean up the wire. The remote wires, we have this new shielding, this web shielding, which is really cool. We have to clean those up. So, but we've got our PDC mounted, and this is where it's going to stay in the car. All of the wiring we can put on the outside. It can come over the trunk, come through here, come over the top. So our hot and then our ground, we can actually do our ground like we did on the battery over there. We can do it over to here, make it super simple. We can also do our ground back over to the lower portion down here, just keep everything on the same side. So that's probably what we'll do, is we'll just keep everything on the same side and keep everything grounded. Super simple. I can also, if I really wanted to, just run the ground from here down to this bolt. But I've got the hole right here, the access hole. So I don't know. We might hide the ground behind it. Although I don't really like hiding stuff, because the next guy's going to be pissed. Hey, how come you hit it? So we'll probably just do it down here. And that's kind of it. So the other PDC that was in here ran this whole section. This one is considerably smaller. It's going to work absolutely great for this car. It's also a lot thinner. The stuff doesn't stick out as far as the other one did. So that's it. We have all of our control for all the electronics we need in the rear of the car right here. The door poppers we could do up front, but originally they had it on here because they were running it off this second battery. So I'm going to move you guys. Well, I'm going to hop out of the trunk, and then I'll move you guys out of the way. So this is where we're at. Once all of the other wires are cleaned up, it will actually look really nice. I promise. I promise it'll look really nice. We'll have clean power coming in. We'll have nice clean ground going out. All the ground wires will come up. We have the grounds for these, which will come up, and then we have the hots for these, which will come up, and then we have our activation ones, which will come down to this guy. This guy's going to get shortened up. He's only going to be that long. And then we also have the base for these relays, which will clean up a bunch of this wiring. It'll look really nice. It'll be super clean, really nice. I went with these relays because they have a built-in fuse up top, which is kind of cool. So I can have the spare fuse here, but also I can see this fuse if it blows out. Now, it's not waterproof like these guys are, but I think we're high enough up. I'm not really going to worry about water. And then I'll probably replace these with the ones that have the little LED in them that show that they're blown. That'll probably be what I replace all these with. That's just very handy to pop the trunk, look in here. Oh, there's my blown fuse. Yeah, we'll probably do something like that just to make it nice. This guy is a huge 40 ampere, so the chances of him probably be a fire before that guy blows up. I know that's not a good thing. It's not funny. Fire's not funny at all, but this guy I'm not too worried about. Just keeping things separate so that if a fuse does blow, other components still work. You don't have everything on one 40 amp fuse or everything on one. These are 30 amp fuses. You don't want to do that. You're having one fuse. You're having too many components rely on one fuse. And if the components happen to work at the same time together, and they pull more than 10% of this, or is it 10% or 5%, whatever it is, it can blow, and it blows unnecessarily. So that's why we run extra fuses. It's a big safety thing. It's also a convenience thing. It works out a lot better. So there we go. 100 times cleaner than what we had in there before. It'll look a lot cooler too with the white. Once everything gets wired and we take this paper off, it'll look a lot cooler with the white on there. So, and with all the wiring cleaned up, it'll look really mint. I promise. All right, let me see if I can get my huge ass out of here. I'm gonna scoot you guys just a little bit. You can still look at the PDC. I just need to make room. Okay. All right, I didn't trip and fall. Congratulations to me. Yay. You guys are like, what the hell is wrong with him? Oh, there's a lot. There's a lot wrong. So I'm gonna pop this guy out. Actually, I'm gonna leave him in there. But I am gonna grab all the tools and the garbage. Get that stuff put away. This center punch should be part of your regular drill, your drilling drawer. Let's see. And this is garbage. All right. Get our drill put away and our extension and our 3/8 head. It's cool. So we're done with that. That's going to stay parked in there while I'm at the other shop. And when I come back, we'll finish all the cleanup on the wiring, and that'll be permanently mounted in there. We'll be able to take off the paper and just leave it as is. That'll be the end of the power distribution back here. Now we have a bunch of options for full-time power. So we have full-time power courtesy of this. We have full-time power courtesy of this battery, which is eventually going to be moved over here. We have a lot of options for full-time power. So that will be something else that gets decided when I get back to this thing, because I love having a battery just for the air compressor. And this is pulling very, very low power. So even if I run it off of full-time power and or switched power, well, switched and full-time power, it'll still be fine. And I'll have the option in the future, when we have 2 batteries in the trunk, to run this, just remove this wire and run it straight from the battery. So there's options to keep things going until we get everything set here in the trunk with the 2 batteries. We'll still have switched power and we'll still have full-time power. So it's nice to have those options available while you're doing 6 other things on the car. So I think that's what we'll do, is we'll run full-time power from this, from the trunk latch, the soft close, and then we'll have switched power from there. So our license plate will still drop, our license plate will still come up, and our air compressor will be on its own battery by itself and its own battery maintainer. This one will work off the battery maintainer up front. So this is on a 40 amp circuit, and that's also 40 amps. So we're not overloading this with that. We're matching it. Not my favorite thing to do, but again, it's temporary until we get everything set in the trunk with the inverter, the other batteries. What will maybe probably happen is the inverter will get mounted up in the wheel well on that, kind of on that wall, if I have enough room to do that. That's where the inverter will go. I might size that out tonight just to, cut out a piece of cardboard and see where it can go. Cardboard is great, like Amazon boxes for doing temp sizes. When you have the component, you don't want it getting scratched up or dented or dinged. Just trace it out on an Amazon box and then use that Amazon box to find out where you want to put stuff, if it hangs under the trunk or goes against the wall. So cardboard and poster board are great for sizing stuff out. And then just recycle it. It recycles cut just as well as it recycles whole. So you guys saw the new relays. We replaced that relay box with just the 3 standard relays with the fuses, and you guys saw the PDC get mounted on that wall. The previous one also was not mounted to anything. It was actually just gravity checked up against the wall at a little bit of an angle. It would flop around in the car. If you made a hard turn, it would just fall over onto the tanks that were right here. Kablonk. It wasn't mounted to anything. There were no screws. There was nothing holding it down. So this one's a lot different. It tucks it up underneath this fender, gets it out of the way. Still have a lot of space. I still have that far. I still have 4 inches, so someone can dig the fender, and it's still not going to get close to that thing. So yeah, try and consider all this stuff when you're doing different things on the car. I really wanted to use that PDC or that relay box. I really did. It was cool. It's got the lights to tell you everything's good or bad. It's a cool box, and it wasn't very expensive. It was like $30, $35. It's kind of got everything in one small area, which is really nice. The problem is it doesn't work for what we're trying to do here. So we'll use it somewhere else in the car. Like I said, I think it's going to work perfect for the lights. So I'll probably order another one, and I'll do one on each side for the lights. That'd be pretty cool. I think that's about it for tonight. Tomorrow night, let's see, tomorrow, I'm gonna, depending on if the Bentley's in the shop still or not, I'm going to stream tomorrow night from the other shop, from the Ohio shop. If I'm not there tomorrow night, then it'll be Friday night. Wait. Yes, it'll be Friday night. So definitely subscribe. You guys will get the notifications, the emails, whatever, saying when the shop is live. And I appreciate everyone subscribing and everyone hanging out, watching me do all this crazy stuff on the limo and trying to, take care of all the not very good wiring that was done before. It was, I don't want to say it wasn't good. It was done very haphazardly. It was done very quickly and with no forethought. There was no planning or anything. It was some guy yelling, "Hey, get me 20 feet of this. Hey, get me 5 feet of this," and put together very, very quickly and very roughly. That's why, it's taken so long to clean all that up. When someone does, a big mound of dirt in your driveway, it takes a while to shovel all that dirt out of the way and clean up your driveway and power wash it. And that's what I'm doing here. This trunk was a huge disaster. It was just packed full of crap. The tanks were like urethane glued together onto a 2x4 platform. The batteries weren't mounted to anything. The battery, one battery that was in the back here, just slid around. This board that they had, the relay board they had, just slid around. So undoing all of that stuff and cleaning it all up, it takes a lot. There's a lot of time involved, and so I'm glad you guys have been on this journey and watching. Hopefully you've learned something. Hopefully it's something you can use in your projects going forward. You don't have to use a cutting board from Amazon if you don't want to, but they're stupid cheap and they're plastic and they're pretty strong and they're waterproof. So for this, it works really well. I got comments popping up here. Yeah, hopefully this car is better off now than it was a couple of years ago when I got it. So I can tell you right now with the power plant, with the 383 stroker, it's a much happier car. It's going to be way more fun to drive and way more fun to launch and way more fun to cruise around in and go to events. And we'll be renting it out. We being me, I'll be renting it out for events and premieres and other shows and stuff. We'll do a bunch of charity events with it, which will be a lot of fun. And yeah, so it will definitely be out all Southwest Florida, from Tampa to Naples. We'll drive it everywhere we can. Again, there's no roof on it, so it's a little difficult. You got to watch weather, etc. And it's very difficult to trailer, so it's one of those we have to kind of drive it everywhere. If I had a trailer, I would put it up on the trailer, haul it somewhere, and drive it around. But for now, we're just going to drive it around. We'll probably do within 100 miles of my shop down here, and we'll call that good, call that safe. And yeah, we'll have a good time with it. It takes a little bit. You got to do these little bits at a time, make sure they're correct, and then you don't ever have to worry about them again. Once you've done this, once everything's wired up and you've got your connectors done and your heat shrink on, you never have to touch it again unless you blow a fuse or something like that. But that's why you do this stuff. Whereas with the board they had before, you had no clue what you were looking at if something blew up. Was that relay ZZ or was that relay X? Nothing was labeled. You had no idea what was what. So on this, it'll say license plate. It'll say, pass pop, driver pop. It's easy to, put a little label on there that tells people which one it is, what it's for. So put a label on there that says battery. Anyway, we'll get a bunch of this stuff cleaned up. And I'm trying to find alternate tanks, because I would like to do one single tank in the back, 80 gallons, call it good. It's been very, very difficult to find anything that can kind of fit. This was split up into 30 and 45, or 30, it's like 33 and 42, something like that. So if I have to split it up, that's fine. But I'd really like to find one, and eventually I will. But it's tough. Anyway, you guys don't want to hear my Facebook Marketplace searches and the difficulty of finding crazy obscure, poly tanks that hold 80 gallons of hot tub water for a limo. So I'll let you guys know when I score that stuff. So we'll keep going on this. The car will be, we'll get back to the limo when I get back from Ohio. And like I said, probably be streaming tomorrow night, depending on if the Bentley's out of the shop or not. If the Bentley's out of the shop, yes, we're streaming. If not, then it'll be Friday. We'll be streaming from Kev's shop, version 1.0. I'll have all my tools. You guys can watch me dry hump my toolbox and do naughty things on my lift and all that. So please join us. Please subscribe, all of that. If you guys have any questions, anything like that, if there's anything you want to see while I'm back in Ohio, hit me up. If you want to see the Neon, if you want to see the Atom, if you want to see other stuff, please shoot me a message. Let me know. I'll try to get some of the other cars there. I want to talk to my buddy Cameron. He started an exotic rental company. So I'd love to do some promotion with him and have him bring a couple of the cars over so you guys can see some of those. And yeah, maybe do some live streaming from inside one of the cars. That would be cool, right? Yeah. So talk with Cam and Cole and Haven and see if we can get something like that. And we'll be streaming a ton from Ohio. So Kev Shop will be going full blast from Ohio. Tell your friends and tell me what you guys want to see. Otherwise, I'm just going to do race car stuff. We'll be doing the MR6, we'll be doing the Monza, and getting those all prepped for Lemons and upcoming races. So thanks everyone for hanging out tonight, and I will catch you from above I-70 tomorrow. All right. Thanks, everyone. Don't forget to show someone that you love them today. Give them a kiss on the cheek. Give them a kiss on the tip of their nose. Hold their hand. Give it a squeeze. It's really important for them, but it is far more important for you. All right. Thanks, everyone. I will. You know why my shirt is like this? Because the wind from the fan. What the hell is doing it? I was wondering what the hell that was. Thanks, everyone. I will catch you tomorrow. Hopefully tomorrow or Friday. All right. Have a great night. Fans turning me into a Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. Gotta remember that.